Hey, everybody, welcome to the replay. Those of you who are on the replay, and those of you who are coming in live, thank you for joining me. Hi. When you come on, if you'll go ahead and say hi so I know who's here. And if you'll go ahead and tag some friends that you feel need to have a talk about faith, share the broadcast for me with your network because we're having a talk today. We are having a talk today. Okay. Um, so, hey. I'm going to go ahead and pin that in the comments. Hey, y'all. We're talking about faith today. Usually I come on Sundays, but this couldn't wait. So I'm trying my best to like contain everything that I have inside of me because it's a lot. So I want you to go ahead and tag your friends. Hey, Sandra. I want you to go ahead and tag your friends because anybody, might be friends, family members, whomever, that really needs to have a conversation about faith. I know, I'm certain that what I have to share, some people are able to benefit from. So do me that favor and go ahead and tag some people, share the broadcast, start a watch party, because this is about to be a lot. This is about to be a lot. Um, so I'm just going to wait just a second. I just want to pin this comment right quick. All right, so let me pin that. All right, cool. Hey. What's today? Thursday? Happy Thursday, y'all. It has been quite an interesting few days. Hi, Latoya. Um, and stuff has just been downloading in my spirit, y'all, and I had to get it out because there's so much. So I really, hey Adrian, it's so much that I was like, I got to talk through this because I know somebody else needs to hear all of this stuff that God has been downloading into my spirit. So, it's a lot, y'all. Like it's a lot. So I want you to tag your friends, tell them to come in, share the broadcast. I'm just gonna wait about one more minute, and then we're going to start talking because I got y'all. Like I was walking around the house like a mad scientist earlier today. Like there was so much that was just happening. It's like all of this stuff was just flowing through my brain, just flowing through my brain. And I was just like it was crazy. Hey Aisha. So I need to get this out so that you all can take this and go forth and do. Hey Heather, go forth and do everything that you need to do with this. I don't know who this is for, but I know it's for somebody, and I didn't want to keep it to myself. So I was like, let me just jump on live right quick and get all of this out because this is a lot. Like it's so much. I'm sitting here bouncing my leg and trying to like calm down because I've been amped up since this morning. Well, actually, it's been for the past few days, but definitely since this morning, like all types of things are just popping into my spirit. Like my hands sweating, y'all. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So definitely again as you come on, make sure you say hi, talk to each other in the comments, because I know that what I have to share is for many of you that are here. So yeah. So thank you to those of you who are coming on, thank you so much for coming over to see what we are talking about today. Today, we are talking about faith. I've been trying to get more comfortable doing these series or these little chats or what have you, because this is far out of my comfort zone, but I'm really growing to understand what this looks like for me. And, I'm a sharer, so I want to share it with all of you because, hey, Bishop Patty, because God is doing some really amazing things. Like, I'm very overwhelmed, but it's a good overwhelmed, because there's just so much. So I want to start off. Today is the second, right? Okay, so yesterday somebody sent me a meme or a, hey Danielle, a kind of like a devotional type thing. You know how like calendars, they'll have things every day, there's a post or there's a message or whatever, right? So somebody sent me one yesterday, and I really didn't understand how apropos it was, if you will, until today. All right. So this is from yesterday, July 1st. It says July is going to be a month of deep self discovery and healing. Dedicate this month for shadow work. The energy is about healing your inner child, old wounds, and traumas. The time is right to completely reinvent yourself and choose new directions that are more aligned to your soul, purpose, and life path. Happy July. Okay. So somebody sent that to me yesterday. And I was like, "Ooh, girl, that's deep, right?" And it was within the conversation that I was having, so I thought it kind of applied to that. So I was like, "Wow, like that's what's up." But I really wasn't thinking about the greater context of what is happening in the atmosphere right now, and things just started to get clearer and clearer as things go on. So I am going to do my best, y'all, to connect these dots because there are so many that are happening. So I'm going to do my absolute best without crying, without like losing it, without like going off track. So I need y'all to keep me on track, okay, over here in these comments. Keep me on track if it seems like I'm going down a rabbit hole, because it's so much. All right. So I mentioned a moment ago, like I have been trying to get in the habit of doing these. And my first live that I did was about boundaries. And we talked about setting boundaries in the context of everything that's happening right now in the world, with the Black Lives Matter movement and the racial unrest that's happening right now. So, us really making sure that we're setting firm boundaries. But another part of those boundaries is making sure that we understand our role in that fight. So on that live, we talked about that, like us understanding the piece of this puzzle that we hold so that we're all able to move together in an organized fashion to affect change. So if you didn't see that, go back and watch that, because that was good. And some of y'all were on here and you saw that. So, give me an amen in the comments if that was you, if you saw that. Then after that, the next week, I did a live about purpose. So we talked about understanding how God created us, understanding our spiritual gifts, understanding the unique design that each of us has, so that we are able to be who God called us to be, able to embrace the parts of us that He's given us that other people may label as negative, but they're actually positive things, and we just really need to understand the way that we were designed so that we're able to be most effective. Okay, so that was good, right? All right. So again, if you were on for that one, give me an amen in the comments so that I know who I'm talking to. So I did those two lives. So then, hey Bianca, so then some things started happening, right? Things got really crazy here in Tampa, and I didn't do lives for maybe 2 weeks now. I haven't done a live on Sundays. So I was like, oh, I'm probably going to come back at the end of the month. And once I move, because I'm moving, and once I get all of that settled, I'll come back. But God, that wasn't God's plan. So God was like, ma'am, you're going live today. Okay. So, Okay. All right. All right. Let me try focus. Okay. So today I want to talk about faith just in the broader context of what faith is, right? So the Bible says that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And it's a lot of stuff right now that a lot of hopes that we have locked inside of us that we don't really understand what to do with them, right? So we have all types of dreams or desires. Hey, Denise, all types of things are in our spirit, but we may not be sure like what direction that they're supposed to go in. So the evidence of things not seen is really not understanding how these dots connect forward. Once we get there, we can connect the dots backwards, but we don't really understand how it connects forward, right? So on this faith walk, it's really important to conceptualize what faith is so that we're able to operate in it. Okay, so I'm talking to myself like while I'm talking to you all because many of you know, and let me just go ahead and say, and I'm gonna be super transparent. So I'm gonna just share the things. But anyway, so many of you know that I have not been working since November, like actual 9 to 5 job. I have not been working since November. And I'm not working because of conditions of someone who thought that they held my future in their hands. Right. And it was a shock because I've always had a job since I was 16. So it's been very interesting, this process of not having a job, right? Not having a 9 to 5, like not going to a job. So, I immediately asked God, like when this happened, I was like, "Hey, so how these bills about to get paid though? Because I got like real adult bills, Lord. Like, what is this about to look like, right?" And I just kept hearing God say, "It's cool, I got you," right? So I'm like, okay, but these bills though, like they are not going anywhere. So I really need you to let me know what this is going to look like. And I'm one of those people, I'm a planner, so I like to have everything laid out. I live by calendar. Like if I showed y'all my calendar right now, you would be like, oh my gosh, all the things, because I have a lot of projects and stuff going on. But suddenly, all of a sudden, my schedule opened up, but I can't afford for it to be open because I got bills. Jesus, right? Um, but what I can say, y'all, is that since November, not only are all of my bills paid, but I was able to pay off credit cards. And every so often, I just get like a deposit out of nowhere that I wasn't expecting, or somebody calls me and they say that I was just calling because I wanted to give you some money, or somebody puts money in my cash app that I didn't even ask for. Hey, Trinetta. So God has been taking care of me, right? So, I'm a life coach. And when I'm doing my coaching program is called Discover Your Destiny. So the whole point of my coaching program is to help people unlock their unique purpose. So the goal is get to know who God designed you to be so that you can unlock your purpose, so that you can discover your destiny and make a mark on the world, right? That's my whole point of having a coaching program. And I have been coaching people for a few years now, and they have like birthed all these things, right? So they're like, "Oh, I got a good idea." They're out here making moves, like doing all the things. And meanwhile, I was still going clocking in. Well, not technically clocking in, but I was going to 9 to 5 every day, right? And I'm pushing them, and I'm like, "Y'all better do it, right? Go out here and be an entrepreneur, write that book, do this, right?" But I was still working, and I knew I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, right? So when I stopped working and I no longer had a job to go to, God was like, "So you finally ready to walk the walk? Because you've been talking this talk, but you ain't really been walking the walk. Because for you to walk the walk, hey Meg, for you to walk the walk, you need to step your faith game up." So I was like, "Well, look, Lord, I don't really need to do it this way. Okay. Like, your girl got faith. Like, I be out here, I be, me and you, we cool. You ain't have to take my job though, like, cause these bills, right?" So we kept having that conversation, and God is like, no ma'am, like I need to push your faith to the next level. Now I'm not gonna even lie to y'all, like I was severely depressed because all of this happened. So I stopped working in November. My dog died in December. And y'all know, like, Jack was my boy, right? I had Jack for 10 years. Like, me and Jack had been through the fire and storm and all types of things. So Jack passed away. That was the hardest decision I ever had to make in my life. I don't have kids, so that was my fur baby. So that was a lot. So, and then again, I got these bills. Now I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just so much. Like, what is this going to look like? But the whole time I'm like just crying out, like, God, I need you to fix this, because you told me to make these moves and to strategically do this and that. And now you out here and I ain't got no job. Like, come on, bro. Um, so he God would send me people, right? So he'd send me people to say, I got you. He'd send me people to say, you're gonna be all right, right? And now in July, this has been like 7, 8 months. Now I can look back and say, okay, I see that all the dots connected. But when I was going through it, I was like, sir, but the no, sir, like this is not it. And it was a lot for me. But again, I kept hearing him say, you need to step your faith game up because I'm taking you somewhere. You need to step your faith game up. I need you to tap into this next level faith, because you're not going to be able to do what I need you to do unless you operate in this space, right? So even this, y'all, I've told y'all before, like I have fought against this for a really long time. It's just very uncomfortable for me to sit here and be on camera and all that kind of stuff. I just don't want to do it. But I've decided to submit to it because I understand that God is in control and he's doing something, and I would rather go willingly than to be forced, right? So I'm trying to be obedient. And it's an everyday fight, but I'm trying to be obedient. So um the other day I was listening to a song. So some of you all may follow my page, and you may have seen me share this live of this little boy who he did like a fake message for e-learning, right? So he was talking about the computer wasn't loading and he just needs to rest and all this kind of stuff. So you may have seen that, kept on stage, shared it, and like a whole bunch of people, like he went viral. But I know this little boy. We did our acting and modeling training together. So I've known him since he was like 11. And he left a real impression on me. I've kept in touch with him, and I keep in touch with his mom. He was on Broadway as young Simba in The Lion King. So I had gone over to see him, and I'm just really proud of him. Like, I'm godly proud of him. So anyway, so he did this live. He goes viral, right? But then everything explodes with George Floyd and all of that or whatever. So he got off of Facebook. So the other day, his mom posts a video, and she's like, Ramon, his name is Ramon Reed. She's like, Ramon got off of Facebook because there's a lot going on right now, but he wanted to do a cover of this song because he sings really well. So just say he wanted to do a cover of this song. So he does Stand Up by Cynthia Erivo. Now, this is from the movie Harriet. If you have not seen the movie, I definitely recommend that you go and see it. But I want you to, I'm going to drop the link in the comments with the lyrics, because this is exactly a part of what I want to talk about. Okay, so let me unpin this comment here, and let me pin that one. Let me figure out how to do that. All right, so unpin that, pin that. All right. Okay. So, yes, Danielle says, I love that song. Me too. Right. I remember watching the movie, and I'm one of those, because I kind of operate in the acting and modeling world. I stay until the very last credit rolls. I'm trying to see if there are people that I know that worked on the project, or who I might need to get to know who worked on the project. Right. So when I saw the movie, I remember sitting, in the theater and listened to the song, and I was like, man, that's a powerful song. Okay. I haven't really listened to it since. I think I maybe listened to it maybe when everything first like started popping off with the protests and all that kind of stuff, but I hadn't really listened to it with intention. Well, Ramon did this cover, and because I like Ramon, I was like, oh, let me see, let me see what his little spin on it is, right? So I listened to it and it just hit me different. So what I want to do is I want to go through these lyrics because I need y'all to appreciate what God is saying right now, because he has told me something specifically for me, but I believe it's for a lot of you all as well. Okay, so I'm going to go through these lyrics. So, and I want you, I'm going to tell you what I get from it. And I want you to tell me what, if you get the same thing or what your mind is thinking as I'm saying and reading what I'm reading. Okay, so let me do a double screen here. Okay. So this says, the first stanza says, I've been walking with my face turned to the sun, weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. I've got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can, when I can, while I can for my people, while the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night. All right. So I just want to stop right there. So as I've been walking on this journey of trying to figure out what God wants me to do, trying to figure out, am I going back into the classroom, trying to figure out if I'm staying here in Tampa, trying to figure out, do I just launch out? I told y'all, I printed my workbook. Do I just launch out into my coaching? Do I, just start writing trainings? Do I start a consulting firm? Like, what do I do? I've just been walking, but the burden has been so heavy, y'all. Like, I would be sitting here lying to you if I didn't tell you there have been so many days where I was like, I cannot do this. Like, God, I don't know who you think I am, but I can't do this. Like, this is too much. My sleep has been off. Like, it's just been a lot just trying to figure out what I do. Like, this weight has been just really, really heavy. And he continues to send me people, but I'm carrying this, I'm carrying this on my own. And then I have a lot of people that are connected to me that are also going through things. So then when they're going through things, that weight impacts me as well, right? So I'm like, okay, so this weight is on my shoulders. Then it says, I've got eyes in the back of my head just in case I have to run. So what that reminded me of is my discernment. Okay. Now, I don't know if I've talked to you all about how my discernment works, but if you have never seen the movie Devil's Advocate, I need you to go and watch Devil's Advocate because it is the exact way that my discernment works. So when I walk into a room, I'm usually very, very quiet. I kind of sit like on the outskirts, or I may see somebody that I know and I go and engage with that one person, but I am not like Miss Social Butterfly when I walk into rooms. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm discerning spirits the entire time. I'm trying to figure out what people's intentions are. I'm trying to figure out, are they operating from good places or bad places? And what happens is when I'm looking at people, I see filters over their faces. So if you've seen Devil's Advocate, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can be in the movie, they'll be talking to somebody, and then the person will transform like into a monster. And that's how my discernment works. I can be looking at somebody and I will see the filth of the spirit that's inside of them manifest on their face. Like, I see it in front of my face, right? Now, I'm sure you can imagine that this was crazy scary until I figured out what it was, because I thought I was nuts is what I thought was happening. But I finally figured out through research and through figuring out my spiritual gifts and all of that what was happening, right? So this line where it says I got eyes in the back of my head in case I have to run, I'm always paying attention. And y'all will testify, those of you who are in the comments that know me, I will say things like, it's something about that person that I just can't really get with. I may not be able to put my finger on it at the time, but I'll say, yeah, I can't. No, their spirit ain't right. And it might not be revealed at that very moment. I've seen it, but it might not be revealed to the other person at that very moment. But then something happens down the line and they're like, girl, and I'd be like, yeah, I told you. Right. So I always say one day people gonna learn to listen to me because my spirit be on point, like in real life. And I know that, right? So I got eyes in the back of my head just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people, while the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night. So let me be very clear that everything that I do is intentional. There is not a thing that I do that is not an intentional move. Every single thing that I do is intentional. And everything that I do is for the betterment of people in general and people that I'm connected to. And I will pour out every single thing that I have for my people, right? I am absolutely team. I want everybody black to win. I want everybody who's connected to me to win. I'm the person where I'm like, listen, if I win, you win, we all win. What is your skill so I could get you plugged in? Like that is me. That was bars, by the way. But anyway, I do everything that I can for the people that just for the people collectively, but for the people that are uniquely connected to me. I'm always asking God, like, tell me who I need to bring with me. Like, just tell me, right? Because I'll grab them. Like, they need to come, right? So I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people, while the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night. That's why I'm going to stand up, take my people with me. Together, we are going to a brand new home. Far across the river, can you hear freedom calling? Calling me to answer. Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. It is so hard to want people to do better and be better, but they don't want to do better and be better. I am always baffled and saddened by me saying to somebody like, come on, like, I got you, do better, like, you can do better, you can do different, you can, like, let's go, right? And this song is from Harriet Tubman, right? Now I'm not trying to say I'm Harriet Tubman because I'm not Harriet Tubman, right? So but I do believe that I have a calling that is very similar to Harriet Tubman, in that God has called me to take people with me. Like he's called me to do that. And I know that. And I'm always trying to stand up and speak for what's right. And I'm always trying to make sure that I illuminate the voices of people who don't have a voice. And I always somehow seem to be on the front lines of getting stuff done. Like if any of y'all been following here in Tampa and following the school board race and following the things that are happening with our kids, like, you know, I'm not afraid. Like I'm not afraid to stand up. And that's been since I was a kid. I've always been that person to stand up and say something because I believe that people should win. I just believe in my heart that people should win. And I think that we should work together to do that. But I also realize everybody doesn't believe that, right? But that's my belief. Like I really just feel like if I show people that we could win together, that, you know, they'll go, like they'll get it, right? So when I'm reading this, is that's why I'm going to stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home. Now I feel like that new home is both literal and figurative, right? So a few of y'all on here, a couple of y'all on here have texted me and told me that you're about to get a new home. So that's the literal home. For instance, I'm moving. I'm about to be in a new home. But for others of you, that brand new home that's far across this river is not necessarily a physical home, but it is a new way of being. that you're about to encapsulate. It's a new environment that you're about to create around you, and it feels far. Like it feels like you have to leave all of the things that you had going on before for you to reach this brand new home, right? Um so it says, together we're going to a brand new home far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling? And that freedom is, for some of us, financial freedom. For some of us, it's freedom from abuse and toxic relationships. For some of us, it's freedom from a mindset that we were holding that was keeping us from doing what God called us to do. And we know with full certainty that He has said to do these things, but we keep saying, I don't know, or you keep saying that, it's not you, or whatever you're saying to yourself. But that's the freedom that God is trying to get to you. And it feels far, but it's constantly calling. And it says, calling me to answer, gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. And when I tell y'all, I just said this earlier and I didn't realize it was in this song until I went back. And yes, Trinetta, like strongholds, yes. So freedom from all of those things, right? And it's in your spirit. Like you can feel it in your spirit. At least I can feel it in my spirit. I can feel it in my bones. That's why I told you, like, I'm sitting here, my leg is bouncing. Like I'm trying with everything in me to make this as clear as I possibly can, because I know that I'm supposed to say what I'm supposed to say, but it's so much that's coming in my brain. But I can feel it. Like I just feel it in the atmosphere. I feel it with everything. There's just this buzz of anticipation that's on the horizon for those of you all who are listening to me and are connected to me, and the people that are connected to you, right? Okay, let me read the next part. It says, early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine. God has been waking some of y'all up in the wee hours of the morning. I know He's been doing it to me, and anybody who knows me knows that I love sleep, yo. I will sleep. I love sleep. But I have been, like I told you, I haven't been sleeping well. So I'll go to sleep at 3 and then I wake up at 6. And now, God is like, hey, let me holler at you right quick. Like early in the morning before the sun begins to rise, God is talking to you about things. And that's the golden hour that I really need you to pay attention to. Because if He ever wakes you up at that hour, it's because He's trying to tell you something in particular that needs to apply to what you are doing at this time. Okay. So early in the morning before the sun begins to rise, we're gonna start moving towards the separating line. Remember those boundaries that we talked about? That's that separating line. So we talked about how a boundary is a line that demarks where one property ends and the next property begins, or where one entity ends and the next entity begins. So there is a separating line that you all have drawn in the sand. And that line is separating people that are going with you, versus people that are staying in this phase, as opposed to people who are going with you to the next phase. And some of you all have been putting this off. Like you're not acting on it. You've been told, I need to set these boundaries. You've been shown that there are certain people, but you steady trying to drag them with you for being loyal or being a friend, or we've been friends so long, and whatever, and whatever excuse that you're using. And I'm trying to tell you, God is trying to separate you from them so that you can keep moving, right? This next line says, I'm wading through muddy waters. I got a made up mind. Things are not clear right now. So as you're coming to this separating line, you're going back and forth and you're trying to figure out, what direction do you go? And things feel muddy. They don't feel clear. I can't see forward, right? But I want to remind you, that's when faith kicks in. That's the whole point of faith, is that you can't see. I want to say there's a quote by Martin Luther King, and he says, faith is taking one step when you can't see the next, or something like that. I might be jacking it up. I don't know. But that's really close to what it sounds like. But it's because it's muddy, it's foggy, like you can't see what's happening. But you know that you're at this line. And again, faith is saying, I'm going to step over that line and I'm going to separate myself from people that no longer serve me. I'm going to separate myself from relationships that no longer serve me. I'm going to separate myself from any type of stronghold or any type of situation that no longer serves me. That might be a job, that might be a home, that might be a car, that might be a spouse. Well, hopefully not a spouse, but might be a relationship, might be a friendship, might be it could be anything, right? So where's that separating line? Where is the where's that demarcation of this change that's about to happen? So it says we're going to start moving towards the separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know, I got a made up mind. And I want you to remember that making up your mind is just as simple as making up your mind. It's making a decision and then deciding that you're going to move forward on that decision. Now, God is not the author of confusion. So whatever he's told you to do, he's told you to do it a few times now. He sent you confirmation and you just being hard-headed, to keep it real. I know, because I'm hard-headed. So again, I'd rather you go willingly than to not, because it's not fun when he makes you go. So, you know, I got a made up mind. And I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. So some of us, when we're thinking about pruning, like the pruning process and stripping away relationships, it can feel hard. It can be a heartbreak. You can feel, sometimes we feel like we are literally going to die because we have separated ourselves from these relationships. But God, there it is. Thank you, Christina. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Yes. God is doing all of this for our good, right? So we have to kind of take the mindset of, even if it hurts, I'm still going to press forward because I have faith that at the end of this, that all things are going to work together for the good, right? And we'll get to the end in just a second. So again, it says, I'm going to stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling? Calling me to answer. Going to keep on keeping on. Then she says, and I know what's around the bend might be hard to face because I'm alone. So I want to talk a little bit about this being alone, okay? Because whenever you are standing up for something, sometimes you got to do that by yourself. And it sucks and it makes you feel like you're not doing the right thing because you're out there on the limb all by yourself. But in reality, this is God separating you. Again, think about this separating line. Hey, Miss Dillon, think about that separating line that's there. So God is separating you so that you can stand apart to do what he's calling you to do. You are so unique and you are so called that you cannot just blend in with everybody else. That is not your calling. And the more that you try to blend in with everybody else, the more uncomfortable that it gets, because that's not what you're supposed to do. So there's a season where you have to feel like you're alone. I just said to my friend yesterday, I was talking about this whole process, and I said, I just feel so many times like I'm by myself. And I know that I'm not. Like, I know that all of y'all are connected to me, and I know that they're like, I have friends and I have family and I have people, you know, across the country that love me and people that will show up for me. But the truth of the matter is, I feel like I'm by myself in this fight a lot of times. And it's really validating when I have somebody to fight along beside me. But there are so many days that I feel like it's just me. And I'm doing everything that I can. And I'm asking myself, I'm like, God, why don't these people want to listen? Like, why don't they want to do better? Like, why don't they, what is happening? But then I'm reminded that I understand my calling, and I understand that when I'm called to say things that people don't necessarily want to hear, that causes them to separate. And then I'm just standing here just looking. But I have to be okay with that because I know that I'm not alone. I just feel alone. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face because I'm alone. And I just might fail, but Lord knows I try, sure as the stars fill up the sky. Now, in our last live, when we talked about purpose, I told y'all the secret to why I'm able to be so bold in what I know my calling is. And it's because it wasn't my idea. This was God's idea. So when it says I just might fail, I might fail, but God ain't about to fail because this is his name on the line. Okay. So I find a lot of confidence in that because I know that if he wins, then I win. because I'm his daughter. So I'm connected to him and he's not going to fail. So even if I fail in my own might, it's not about my might and my power, it's about his. So I have to connect to him so that he's able to make sure that I win. Okay. So then the chorus goes again. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we're going to a brand new home. Far across the river, can you hear freedom calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. Now, this is the part that stood out for me when I listened to this song again, right? She said, I can feel it in my bones. And then she said, I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. And it's very soft, just like at the end. I go to prepare a place for you. I'm getting emotional. Hold on. Okay. Breathe. Okay. So she said, I go to prepare a place for you. And this is why I took my makeup off, y'all, because I knew I was gonna like be a mess. So, hey Candace. Um, okay. Let me try to focus. Y'all gonna have to just kind of hear me through all of this because it's a lot. So I have been struggling with whether I stay or go here in Tampa. Um, I've been here for 17 years and it's been cool. Um, And I've said many times over the course of years, you know, I'm going to move away. Like, I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'm going to go back home to New Orleans. Like, I'm going to go somewhere else. And just recently, God like slapped me in the face and was like, pack your stuff and roll out. And I was like, God, like I have so many things left to do here. Like I have so much left to do. And, you know, I'm trying to be here for these kids and fight for these kids and, you know, all of this. And God was like, hey, guess what? Because of COVID-19, ain't nobody looking for you anyway. So the same thing, like I've been in my house, right? So he's like, the same thing that you're doing here in Tampa, you could be doing where I told you to go, because I need you to go to this place. And the reason that he needs me to go to the place is because my job is to prepare this place, because so many of y'all that are connected to me are supposed to then come and be connected to whatever it is. So I'll give you an example. I was talking to somebody just the other day, and I was talking about the mentoring program that I have. And I called my business partner and I said, how big do you want this to get? Like these retreats that we do. I said, how big do you want this to get? And she's like, I want it to be really big. And I was like, you know, well, what do we want this to look like? And she said, you know, I feel like you have something really special. You have something really amazing here. And, you know, I feel like it's great what you're doing, right? So notice the difference. I said, I asked her, how big do you want this to get? What do we want this to look like? And she said, you have something really big. So I said, why are you saying that I have something big and not us? This is not mine. This is ours. So she said, well, it was your idea. I said, right. But I never executed this idea without you. From the very beginning, the first time I held one of my girls' retreats, she was there. And I'm like, I made this place for you to have this little piece right here. Like this is you, and I can't do this without you. So what I prepared, what I thought up, what I envisioned was not for me. That was for you. That was for us. So why are you telling me that this is for me? This is not for me. This is for you. And what I recognize and realize is God wants me to prepare places for those of you all who are connected to me. And that's why it's so important for you to understand your purpose, because I need to know what your role is so that I can plug you into whatever that he wants you to do. But if you don't figure out what your role is, then I can't plug you in. So this work that I'm trying to do is not for me. This is for us. And I feel like we missing it. So I needed to tell you, like, I need you to get it. Like, I need you to do the work. I need you to listen to God. I need you to hear what he's saying, because I can't do this by myself. And I don't know what this looks like. Like, I don't know when I go. I don't know what it looks like for whatever this next level is, but what I do know is that the word says that God can do greater than we could ever think or imagine. So I know what I can think in my head, but if it's greater than that, I need a team. I need some people with me because I can't do it by myself. Like I'm sitting up here thinking to myself every other day, I need a daggone assistant because this calendar is out of control. Like I don't know who made this schedule, but my God, it's a lot. So I need people that are going to fight along with me and that know where they're supposed to be in this fight. But that means that you have to do the work to be able to say, hey, Kimberland, this is what my skill set is. This is what I can do so that I can say bet because I know an opportunity is going to come up. I'll give you an example. Aisha is on here and Aisha and I met modeling, right? And we just clicked, right? We was just like, man, you cool. We both taught science. I was like, man, she cool people. We kept in touch, right? So I do Beautiful Brown Girls. And Aisha has been a faithful member of Beautiful Brown Girls. She is on every time we go live. My girl is on. She on. She comments. She on here right now, right? I know that she supports me. So we had a new spot that opened up to have another host come. So Aisha reaches out and she's like, hey, Kimberland, I heard that, there's this new host spot coming up and I threw my name in the ring. So I'm like, okay, girl, yes. And as a matter of fact, I was disobedient because I was supposed to tell Aisha about it and I forgot because I got so much going on in my mind that I didn't stop right then and tell Aisha, but thank you that God had my back and he told her to apply for this position. So, she tells me, I'm gonna do it. And Aisha, I know I'm telling all your business. I didn't even ask you if I could do this. I'm sorry. Can I do this? I'm telling her testimony. But Aisha said, she said, she messages me and she's like, I'm going to apply for this. And she said she was kind of nervous about it. She's like, and I'm kind of nervous about it, whatever. And I said, girl, I just need you to be yourself. And she was comparing herself to me. So she's like, you do this so effortlessly and blah, blah, blah. I was like, girl, I didn't know what I was doing. When I first started hosting Beautiful Brown Girls, I had no clue what I was doing. Okay. I just know that I know how to talk to people. So I was just me. I'm like, what up, yo? We up in this piece, we talking today, like whatever. I had no idea. And there were just things that I would do naturally because I just thought that's what you were supposed to do, right? So I'm talking to Aisha and I'm like, she's like, girl, well, she just said in the comments, nervous. She said she was scared to death. Okay. So I'm like, Aisha, I just need you to be you, girl. I just need you to be you. And if it's meant for you to have, you'll have it. But before this I think during this conversation, I said, well, what do you want to do, Aisha? And she's like, I've hosted before and I want to host and, I want to be able to do this and I want to be able to do that. So she starts telling me about all of this stuff so that she wants to do. So I said, okay. I said, well, I'm gonna pray for you. But I just want you to be you. I just want you to be you. And that's that. Do y'all know Aisha texted me this morning, and said she is the new host on Beautiful Brown Girls. Now, what I know is had I not stepped out to take the position on Beautiful Brown Girls to be a host when I didn't know what I was doing, it was just a little something that God had put in me, and I was like, I'm going to go ahead on and try this thing out and see how it works. Had I not gone through that, had I not been the person that I was, had I not been connected to Beautiful Brown Girls, she wouldn't even known about Beautiful Brown Girls. She wouldn't even gotten the advice to be herself to get this position. That's what I'm talking about when I say my goal is to prepare a place for you. That's my whole point. And there are several people like Bianca's on here. Her wife, Michelle Rayner Goolsby, is running for office. She's a civil rights attorney. Well, guess what? I have a whole platform full of brown girls. Had Michelle on the show. And I want you to tell people that you're running for office because some of these people are in your area. Right? So my whole job, like y'all, I promise you, everything that I do is with the intention for us to win. I don't do anything for Kimberland in real life. Everything that I do, and those of y'all that know me can testify to this, I'm always thinking about how I can make the biggest impact on other people. So I need you to know what your role is. I need you to know what your purpose is so that you can win. Okay? I hope that wasn't a spoiler alert because some of y'all on here from Beautiful Brown Girls, they didn't make an official announcement yet, but the cat's out the bag. Okay, so receive that. Okay, if you receive it, I want you to just say that you received it in the comments. Okay, so receive. Just let me know that you received because I feel like I'm doing a lot, but I know this is good. Okay, so Aisha calls me, tells me about that. I had another friend called and told me about a grant that she received for her business. I had somebody else that called and told me that they started a new business. I myself, y'all, I ain't been working, right? But I had all these contracts out that I was facilitating and doing, and I've just been waiting. If y'all know anything about the school district, they can take a long time to give you your money. Okay, so I've just been waiting and trying not to worry because my savings account is just about dry, and I'm really trying to figure out how much money I'm going to have for me to get from out of here and go do whatever God is telling me to do, right? But I got to trust that he's going to do it. My dad had sent me some money a few weeks ago, and he had used Zelle in Regions, Zelle with my Regions account, so it linked directly to my Regions account. And I didn't get alerts from my account. So he texted me. He was like, "Hey, did you get the money that I sent you?" And I was like, "No, where was I? No, where is it?" So he's like, "Well, I sent it through Zelle." So I log into my Regions account, and I activate my push notifications just so I could keep track of my account. Because sometimes I get real frivolous about that, and I can't afford to do that, especially when you ain't hardly got no money in there. You got to know what's in there, right? So I was like, "Oh, let me activate these push notifications." So I have it set up that every day it'll send me my balance, and it'll send me any deposits or any transactions so I can keep track of what's going on, and I don't really have to like always log in to the thing because I forget. So I did that a few weeks ago. So the other day, I'm thinking, I'm like, I gotta pack, I gotta do these things, like I don't know what this is gonna look like, but hey, we out here winging it, like we'll see. Worst come to worst, I'm gonna be at my daddy's house and be like, hey, make room for your girl, right? So I wake up yesterday was Wednesday. I wake up and I have a notification on my phone, and it says, "Congratulations, you received a deposit." So I'm like, "A deposit?" So I look and it says, "You received a deposit for $2,600." Oh, Lord, what? So I open up my account, and one of the contracts that I had put in has been fulfilled on a Tuesday. Well, it happened on Tuesday evening, but I got a notification yesterday on Wednesday morning. I had no idea. Number one, when my dad sent me money, I didn't expect that. But number two, I definitely didn't expect this deposit, but it just happened. So it's like God continues to send me stuff, reminders like, I got this, I got you. Like, I just need you to do what I said to do, right? So checks have been coming. Somebody texted me today and said they were getting a new house. Right, just came out of nowhere. I'm getting a new house. Bianca's on here for Teaching for the Culture. She just made a post right before this and said that Teaching for the Culture is expanding to pick up a new market. Somebody else called me and said that they have gotten a new opportunity to another contract to be able to pick up some classes that they do. Somebody else called me and told me they got a movie role. Somebody else called me and said that they their dissertation got approved, so they're ready for their degree. Like, all of this has been happening in real life in the past 3 days. I need y'all to hear me when I tell you that what is happening right now that I feel in my bones is so real. Like, I wish I could open my heart and y'all could just see what, like, that you could just look inside and be like, I see it all, right? Because God has already shown me these things. He's shown me what's going to happen, and it's for you. And so I need you to get your life together now because the place is being prepared. But that's not all. So then, after I listened to the Cynthia Erivo song, if anybody knows my brain, I operate in music, right? I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but I operate in music. So sometimes I'll just have music on. I don't have to cut on the TV. So after the stand up song went off by Cynthia Erivo, the next song that came on was it was another Cynthia Erivo video, but the song was she sang Jasmine Sullivan's Masterpiece. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in the what you call them for y'all into the comments, because I want y'all to actually go to these songs, and I want you to look at what I'm talking about, because I know that what I'm talking about, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I need y'all, when I put this stuff in here, I need y'all to tap in. All right, so let me pin this one. So Jasmine Sullivan's song Masterpiece came on, and I put this particular one because I want you to listen to the lyrics. All right, so let me read these lyrics. She says, my eyes ain't used to these rays. I'm feeling exposed, but I hide no more. I can't hide. As the sun shines on all of my glory, my flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of? Every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa. Every part of me is beautiful, and I finally see I'm a work of art, a masterpiece. Who is this I've tried so long? Who is this I've tried so long to fight? Filling my head with lies that I'm not good enough. Then I heard something in my ear. Tell me I'm perfect. Now that I know the truth, time to show and prove. Every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa. Every part of me is beautiful, and I finally see I'm a work of art, a masterpiece. And now I see the pretty colors on my canvas. I'm a work of art, a Mona Lisa. I'll share my picture with the world, not afraid to let it show anymore. I can light the night, shine so bright. I believe it now. I can light the night, shine so bright. I'm a work of art, a masterpiece. Every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa. Every part of me is beautiful, and I finally see I'm a work of art, a masterpiece. So then I was like, Lord, you really trying to slay me on this day. Like all of this has been happening, y'all, since like 12 noon. Okay. So I said, I hear you. So yesterday, talking to another friend that was talking about they're in school in grad school. And she said, I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I just feel like I'm trying to I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe I should just like throw this paper away. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And I said, it sounds like you have imposter syndrome. So she said, what's that? So imposter syndrome is, and Michelle Obama talks about this actually in her book, but a lot of people talk about it. So imposter syndrome is when you feel like at any moment somebody is going to like pull the cover off of you and they're going to reveal you as an imposter. That at any moment they'll say, I knew you wasn't all you were cracked up to be. I knew that you weren't as qualified as you claim. I knew they let you in here because you met the status quo and not because you were talented. I knew that it was all just a fluke and you wasn't really all that. And we do this to ourselves all the time. I do it all the time. I say things like, why are people listening to me? I'm just out here winging it. But the other side of my brain be like, but girl, when you talk, people listen. It's evident. Y'all sitting here listening to me, right? And I'm apparently saying something that's making some type of sense. But every so often, my self-talk will tell me, Kimberland, ain't nobody about to be listening to you, girl. What is you talking about, girl? That's imposter syndrome. And it's because of yes, Aisha said imposter syndrome is a destroyer of dreams because of our self-talk, the things that we say to ourselves, and a lot of times our self-talk is talk that has been programmed into our minds. So somebody has told us that we're not good enough, whether that's somebody we're connected to, whether that is this world, whether that is something you saw on TV, but somewhere we got the message that we're not good enough, we're not enough, we don't know what we're doing, we're not worth it, we're not worthy. And we say it to ourselves all the time. Shanetta, I've said it to myself many times. We say it to ourselves all the time. And this song came on and immediately convicted me in my spirit. Every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa. Every part of me is beautiful. And I finally see I'm a work of art, a masterpiece. It's in the comments, Aisha. I pinned it. Time's up, y'all, for sitting here diminishing yourself, minimizing yourself when you go into these spaces, acting like you don't know what you're talking about. Had another conversation with somebody today around a training. I said, what's your long game here? I said, what's your long game? And she was like, I don't really have a long game. I was like, ma'am, I need you to get one. Okay. Because you know what you're talking about. When people, when you speak, people listen to you. I said, you tell me that all the time, but I've watched how people listen to you. I've watched you command rooms full of people and they hang on your every word. I need you to get yourself together, write whatever you need to write, and get your behind out here and talk to these people. And she said, Kimberland, my husband has been telling me that for a few years now, and I have not done it. And I said, well, doggone it, today is the day. Now, that conversation I had with her, I had to have with myself because I be in here tripping. Like, I ain't going to even much lie. I be in here tripping. And I my self-talk be telling me I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever, right? But I thank God that he arrests my mind. And it's like, girl, I made you. And that's the thing, is like when we recognize that God made us purposefully, y'all, like God sat there. I want you to imagine God like piecing you together chromosome by chromosome. He's like, yes, girl, I'm about to give you this milk chocolate skin, girl, these brown eyes, child, with your little sideburn curl popping on the side, girl. I'm about to give you them dimples. I'm about to give you them eyes. Like, yes, honey, I'm about to give you whatever your height is, whatever your figure is. Like, God is like, girl, yes. And then when he finished that, he said, that's good right there. That's a masterpiece. That's my work of art. Don't it say that in the Bible? Bishop Patty, you on here. Don't it say that in the Bible that we're a masterpiece, God's work of art? I feel like it's somewhere. If it ain't, it need to be. Okay. But we have to accept that into our spirit. And whenever our self-talk tells us, I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, 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 whatever it is that you done said to yourself, you got to counteract that with truth. The truth is you are good enough. The truth is you are worthy. The truth is God designed you perfectly to make an impact in this world, and he is waiting on you to get on the good foot and get out here so we can help these people. That's my dramatic pause. I wasn't frozen. So I need y'all to grasp a hold of this. Again, if you are receiving this, I need you to tell me that you are receiving what it is that I'm saying, because this is for somebody on here. Okay? So I dropped that into the comments. All right? So you can check that out. And I want you to listen to it. And I want you to hear what thus saith the Lord through Minister Jasmine Sullivan. Okay? But that's not all, y'all. I promise I'm going to let you go in just a second. So last night, I'm on the phone with, or on the video chat with my colleagues over there at Teaching for the Culture. And we talking about whatever we talking about, laughing at all this crazy foolishness that's happening right now. And I get a message. So let me open up a new window so I can read y'all this message, because this broke me down. Okay, and I'm gonna try my best to do this and keep my life together so that y'all can hear what I'm trying to say. Because I got a message from a message. Now y'all know I've told y'all before that I ask God for emails all the time. Okay. I'd be like, Lord, I need you to send me an email. I be out here tripping. I don't know if I am listening to you or if I'm listening to the spaghetti sauce. Like, I need you to give me a clear sign that I am doing what I'm supposed to do. So when I promise you on my life that God sends me emails in real life through people, but in real life, God be out here sending me emails like, hey girl, this is for you. So last night I'm on with the Teacher for the Culture folks, and I get a message. So I'm gonna read you the message. So the message is from a former colleague of mine, and she always, like, every time I see her, she always honors me, right? So she's always like, Kimberland, thank you so much for the things that you put out on Facebook. You always seem to put something out just when I need it, and it always speaks to my spirit. Just thank you so much for being you, and thank you so much for your smile, and just thank you, right? So I appreciate that from her, but me and not wanting to be seen. I always try to downplay, like, girl, stop, right? But I'm working on just receiving it, right? So when somebody tells me that I've impacted their life, I'm working on just receiving it and just receiving it and not feeling like I have to say something else or whatever, right? Just receive. Okay. So I'm working on that. So at any rate, I saw her in November when I was working, and maybe for about like 5 minutes, I was at a school and she walks in and I'm like, hey girl. So she sees me, gives me a big hug. She's like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. She always calls me beautiful soul. She's like, you're such a beautiful soul. So good to see you. So in November. So the next time I see her is in February. Now, in between that time, I'm not working anymore. Okay. So I was doing a training with her on a contract. So I'm doing this training and I see her, and she's like, oh, how are things going at the job? And I was like, yeah, I'm not there anymore. So she was like, oh, okay. I said, well, I've been doing some consulting, at this school. And, I've kind of been thinking about what that's going to look like. I don't know what that looks like long term. I'm technically on leave right now. Like, I don't know. So she was like, oh, okay. So we're doing a training. It's three of us, right? So then a little while later, she comes over and she's like, maybe on break, and she's like, Kimberland, when you do that consulting firm, you should name it a name. Now, I can't remember the name, and I kicked myself in the behind that I didn't write it down because my brain, child, these brain cells, they be done. Like, my memory is shot. But whatever the name was that she said to me, it was very impactful. Like, I was like, okay, I received that, right? Whatever the name was. So she said what she said. She walked off. She was done with that. All right. That was it. So I haven't seen her since then. So she messaged me yesterday and she was asking me about, I've been talking about, the racial climate and setting boundaries and talking to people. So she was like, I value your opinion. How do you think I should respond to this post? So, I read the post and I was like, it really depends on how important a person is to you. We talked about this in our boundaries episode, right? So I'm like, depends on how important a person is to you. If it's a valued relationship, you may, want to exert their energy. But if their mindset isn't going to change, then you may just want to block them and keep it moving. So she was like, you're right about that. So now I want to read you what she said. She said, thanks, friend. Just didn't want to miss an opportunity, but your advice makes perfect sense. By the way, you are a force. I'm so enjoying watching this Kimberland emerge. You speak not just your truth, but from your soul, and channeling such passion and power. I know your future is going to be wildly successful. Your voice will reach so many. Just keep setting those goals and surpassing them. Thanks for the advice. One day I'm going to hire you for a coaching session just so I can get an in-depth one-on-one. So I said, thank you so much. I've seen myself pushed all the way out of my comfort zone. Let me repeat this right here. I don't really be wanting to do this, right? So this is not me. But I've seen, again, I've submitted and been like, all right, Lord, like I'm okay. I'm gonna go ahead on and do it, right? Because again, I'm trusting this is your idea. So you're gonna have to translate whatever's coming out of my mouth to get to the people, because this is you, right? So I said, thank you so much. I've seen myself pushed all the way out of my comfort zone. It's been quite uncomfortable, but exciting at the same time. And I said, I'll tell you, since we are chatting, I'm leaving Tampa in 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I'm coming back, launching out on my own. If I can take a leave, I will. If I can take a leave, I may still train, but if not, I'll be on my coaching, speaking, and advocating for our children and systemic change. This is her response. Now I want y'all to type into the comments what your reaction is when I read this to you, okay? She said, I already knew that. I just didn't know when. Your grandmother stays close to you, and when I saw you at that school that day, she spoke it, followed with a strong head nod. I thought it was odd since you had just taken that job. I don't share with everyone, but I have the gift of knowing things. I knew it was coming. Yes. Although you will be missed here, I'm telling you, Kimberland, there is no stopping you. There is no stopping your purpose. It is already written. By the way, Think about using the acronym POWER in the book that you write, the one that will rocket launch you as a national sought after speaker and consultant. The P is for purpose. You will figure out the rest. Beautiful blessings as you set out on this journey to be a true difference maker, not just someone who spews empty rhetoric. Thank you for sharing this and making my heart smile so big this evening. So I read it and I was like, my grandmother, what is she talking about? So she's an older lady. So I was like, is she saying that she's my grandmother? Like, what is she talking about? So I read it again. I already knew that. I just didn't know when. Your grandmother stays close to you. And when I saw you at the school that day, she spoke it, followed with a strong head nod. I thought it was odd since you just took that job. And I just immediately broke down in tears. So the backstory behind my grandmother is there was a summer when I was about to go to kindergarten. So I was 5. And it's 3 cousins that grew up together. I'm in the middle. So it's my older cousin, then me, then my younger cousin. And we went to stay with my grandmother for this summer. And we talk about this summer all the time. This summer, my grandmother taught me how to write cursive. I knew how to write in cursive going into kindergarten. Um, she taught me how to read. Every morning, we would wake up and we would have school. Well, first, we would exercise, and then we would have Bible study, and then we would have school. And I remember once I started teaching, telling my grandmother, I never thought I was going to be a teacher. And she was like, I always knew you were going to be a teacher. When we used to have school out in the country, you had the best class. Like you were out here, you had the thing structured, like you were out here doing the thing. She's like, I always knew that you were going to be a teacher. So that summer before I turned 5 that I spent with my grandmother is like something that I've held on to forever because throughout my life, my grandmother was very absent. So she would not come to our events. She wouldn't come to anything that we had. Matter of fact, my grandmother never even came to my house until I was in college. And it was because she was getting older and she was trying to right all the things that she had done. And my family has a history of very toxic familial relationships. Like it's just very, very toxic. And like I would be standing outside of my grandma's house some days and I would see her in the window and I would be like, hey, nanny. We called her nanny. I'd be like, hey, nanny, come open the door. And she would not open the door because we had not called before we came over there. Like she was like, mm-mm. I think that's where I get my boundaries from. But she never came to our stuff, but she would go to my youngest cousin stuff. So me and my older cousin always said that our younger cousin was the favorite. It was like she was the favorite. So but we never like really had like a really really close relationship. It was kind of like that's my grandmother, but and I respect her because she's my grandmother and I love her because she's my grandmother, but we didn't have like this super duper close relationship. But I respected her and valued her because she was my grandmother. So my grandmother wound up getting dementia, and she started getting worse, and worse. And right before she died in April, and I went home in February, and my mom took me to go and see her. And she's at the nursing home. Dementia has like totally taken over her body. So at this point, she's really just laying there. And my aunt was in there, and my aunt was like combing her hair, and she filed her fingernails and all that kind of stuff. Because my grandma used to have her nails on point, child. They were always together. But I sat on the edge of the bed, and I was like, "Hey, nanny, hey." And she opened her eyes for a second, and like I could tell she recognized me in that second. So, and then she was gone. Like, as far as not gone like they're gone, but gone like it was a moment and then it was gone. And I was like, wow, like she really opened her eyes to see me. So she passes in April, and my younger cousin is like done. She called her mama, like she was ready to jump in the casket. Like it was really something. So me and my older cousin, after everything, I go back to my older cousin's house and we're talking about it. And she was like, I feel like I should feel a way, but I don't really know how to feel because we didn't have this grandmother that our younger cousin had. Like I don't know what that looks like. I always wanted it, but I never had it. I don't know what that looks like. So we were kind of trying to process, like, I know I should feel, like I want to jump in the casket, but I don't. Like, I'm sad, but I don't know. Like, we weren't that close, right? So last year, so that was in like 2017. So last year, my older cousin called me, and we were always the closer of the two. So she called and she's like, I went to see the spiritual advisor, and she's like, and when she was talking to me, she told me that Nanny is with me. So we were like, what? Why would she be with you? Because we just knew that she was with our younger cousin because that was her favorite, right? So, like, why would she be with you? So she was like, that's what the lady told me. And she said that Nanny wants me to put on this like family reunion type situation. So I said, well, I'll help you, I'll support you, because that's my dog. So I'm like, I'll support you, whatever you need me to do. This is really interesting, right? Now, in the meantime, I had not even talked to my mother in 2 years, which is a whole nother story. We'll have to talk about some other day. But I knew I was going to see my mother, and I knew that was going to be some type of conflict, but I was willing to go because Kalanda said that this is what we need to do. So I go home, we have the thing. It was a thing, and then I left, right? But I was talking to her, and I said, I wonder, I should go see the lady because I wonder who's with me. Now, I've never met my biological father. He committed suicide before I was born. So I never met him. And I actually just got connected back to his family maybe like 5 years ago, right? So I was like, maybe my father is with me, like, because they would tell me that he said he was really excited about his princess that was coming and all of this, right? So I was like, well, maybe my father is with me. Like, I wonder who's with me. I wonder who my person is, that's hanging out. Who's my ancestor? So for me to get this message yesterday to say that my grandmother is with me is like she's trying to write stuff from the other side because time ran out on her. And so, like Bianca had wrote a moment ago, like our ancestors are always with us. And I'm just reminded of that quote that we always say, like, I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. And I think about how what my grandmother would say to me is, people listen to you. People listen to you. My brother, my cousins, like she'd be like, they listen to you. So it just all kind of came full circle, and I wasn't expecting it, but it is so timely in the midst of everything else that's been happening. So I said all of this to say, for the past hour and 15 minutes, I need y'all to step your faith game up because God is doing some things that are greater than you can imagine, greater than you can think, greater than you can even fathom in your brain. But he needs you to get over the negative self-talk. He needs you to get over doubting yourself. He needs you to stop minimizing yourself. Like, he needs you to tap into your purpose so that we can be together and help everybody win, because people are dependent on you to get to where you need to go so that they can get to where we need to go. Because the way this is supposed to work is we're supposed to reach a hand back to bring somebody with us. We're not supposed to be pulling each other down and trying to keep each other down. And it like saddens me so much. And that's why I have to get out of Tampa, like in real life. And in full transparency, that's why I got to go. I cannot deal with this crab in a barrel thing any longer. I can't do it. It breaks my heart because I want us to win. I want people who look like us to be able to win. I want us to be able to go to the next level, but I also recognize that you could take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And if people are hell bent on not putting down the foolishness and the pettiness and picking up these causes, there is so much work to do. Like, why are we sitting here doing all this dumb stuff? It's like, so I just can't do it anymore. But what I know is that God is using everything that I've been through to prepare a place for y'all. And I need y'all to get it together. Trinetta said God has been speaking to me about faith for the past 3 months. So that's all I have to say. It's been a lot, y'all. Like, so what my prayer often is that God will download things into my spirit and paint a clear picture for me so I know where to go and what to do so I don't mess it up. And that is my prayer for each one of you, that you leave this, that you get quiet, and that you allow God to speak whatever it is that he needs to say to you, wherever your unique place is in all of this. He's going to identify it. He's going to illuminate it for you. And I need you to get it together. Danielle said, we talked about faith in Bible study yesterday. Someone said, faith that cannot be tested cannot be trusted. I'm in the middle of my faith walk, y'all. And I'm not going to even sit here and act like it's been easy. But what I can say is that I trust God. I trust God. And I do not know what this is going to look like, but the doors that I'm watching open, I'm just watching them open. I'm just watching, like, I wish y'all could just see inside my brain, just all this stuff that he's put inside my spirit. But the doors are opening and I'm trying to take people with me. So you coming or no? So the last thing I'll say is, if you are sitting here and you're like, I have no idea what my purpose looks like, I don't know how to figure that out, I don't know who I am, I don't know where to start, I'm a life coach. And the whole purpose for me being a life coach is to help people understand who they are, understand their purpose, so they can discover their destiny and make an impact on this world. That's the whole point that I'm here. So if you need that help, I need you to go to my website. I need you to click where it says set up or make appointments, do a consultation, and we need to talk. I'm probably in August going to do a group coaching class so that is more accessible. I'm going to launch my book so that it'll be available on Amazon, and there'll be a support method there for you to get like different podcasts or whatever to get the content. But long story short, I need us to get it together because there's work to do. Okay. So, um, that's all I have to say. Um, thank y'all for the confirmations that you're putting into the comments, because that just lets me know that God was telling me to do this, which I know he told me to do it, but you know, it's confirmation. So again, my ask is that you will share the broadcast, that you send this to somebody who needs to hear this, um, that you internalize it, and that you receive what there is for you to receive so that we are able to win together. Okay. I love y'all very much. And y'all keep me in prayer because there are a lot of attacks. But I'm not afraid. I want y'all to know that. Like, I'm not scared at all because I know that God's got my back. But if you will just keep me covered in prayer, that the enemy will not ever have any type of victory. And I'll somewhat keep y'all posted on when I leave, but I do leave here in 2 weeks. And I don't know if I'm coming back. I probably won't, to be honest with you. But on my way, on my journey, I need traveling mercy and, all of that good stuff. So if y'all would just keep me in prayer, and I'd appreciate that. And yeah, all right. So love y'all. See you soon. Bye.